Hey guys, my name is Luke, and for many years I've been on a journey of self-improvement. I never accepted the idea that I wouldn't be able to overcome the external or internal problems I've been facing throughout my life. So for the longest time, I've had a strong motivation to build self and situational awareness, as well as figure out how to transcend what's stopping me from being my best self. Along my journey, I've encountered a good amount of methods as well as insights that I have found to be hugely beneficial. And now I want to share some of them with you so that you can use them on your own path of self-optimization. Today, I'd like to go over the concepts of willpower and vision and then highlight how these can be turned into concrete achievement. Willpower is fundamental for leading a successful life. If you don't currently possess it, you can definitely develop it. But before I go into how to do that, let me just clarify what I mean by will. So we all know what it feels like to succumb to a desire uncontrollably, even when we know we shouldn't. And we usually end up having many competing desires at any given moment, so we have to end up choosing which one to pursue. This is usually done unconsciously. For instance, whether you choose to exercise or not exercise, socialize or work, snooze or get out of bed, it usually depends on what's calling out loudest to you at the moment. So given that, we can define willpower as the focused pursuit of a desire for a long period of time. This will require the desire to be kept vividly in your mind and for all other desires that you're currently having to be overridden. In order for this to be achieved, you need to start by creating a vision. And really what a vision is that overriding desire that you want to focus on. You want to make sure it's very clearly defined. Vision creates willpower because it creates a single purpose that you can use to guide all of your efforts. This way, you won't fall into traps like getting confused about the meaning of life. Why am I here? Or getting bored, or juggling too many hobbies. A singularity of purpose will make you narrow, and this is actually what creates the success, because you can't be good at one thing if you choose to do everything. So now think, what is something that you want so much that you're willing to sacrifice many short-term pleasures for, because the future satisfaction is going to be worth it? This is your vision. So now that we have the wheels spinning on what your vision could be, I want to make you aware of something. There's a big difference between willpower that is strong and willpower that is of your own choosing. Strong will is usually what we define as willpower, which is just your ability to persist in achieving a particular vision. Now, the ability to craft your own vision that is really of your own choosing, I would define that as free will. It's just like completing your tax return. It takes a lot of willpower, but I certainly didn't choose that vision. You see, from a young age, our environments have significant influence in molding visions for us. So really think about this for a second. Is the vision that you crafted a moment ago something you really want? Or could it be a product of your social environment? In other words, do you want this for yourself? Or did you just choose it as your vision because you think it will bring the respect of your colleague or your friends or your significant other or your boss or your parents? So while you're thinking about this, I'd also like you to reflect on the idea that developing free will requires a great deal of openness. This is because you need to be able to explore outside your current conditioning and boundaries. Now to bring this all together and show you what it looks like, I'm going to go into 4 different archetypes that come from having different levels of free will and strong will. You may recognize some of these in other people, you may even recognize some of these in yourself. The first one is when you have strong will but no free will. We'll call this the seeing the wrong goals archetype. People caught in this pattern get very good at pursuing a vision that they don't personally find meaningful. They simply do the wrong things. They spend their time chasing after what other people want, and when they achieve it, they just ask, is that all there is? People in a midlife crisis are a perfect example of this. These are people that have worked hard their entire lives, mainly at the expense of their relationships, their well-being, or their physical health. And at the end of the day, they're still not satisfied. And believe me, having a Ferrari is not going to solve that problem. The second one is when there's free will, but no strong will. We'll call this the drifting to low performance archetype. These people have wild imaginations, and they craft ambitious visions, which is great. I mean, it's okay to be a dreamer, but you gotta have follow-through, and in this case, there is none. Once they fail to achieve a goal, they end up lowering that goal until eventually they just give up. But because they have free will, they're able to jump from one vision to the next when the first one doesn't work out. The next one is when there's no strong will or free will. We'll call this the addictions archetype. People caught in this pattern find having long-term visions too challenging, so they end up looking for quick fix distractions. They get caught up in succumbing to their easier short-term desires to ease their momentary emotional discomforts. Places of vice, like casinos or strip clubs, they love these types of people. Addicts also lack free will, so they're not able to break out of or change their current addiction patterns. And now the last one, which is the one we're all striving for, having free will and strong will. We'll call this the exponential success archetype. Having both of these creates a very strong reinforcing feedback loop, where initial success is going to lead to greater confidence, skill, abilities, and focus, which leads to more success. Having free will, not just strong will, often means doing what no one else does, and getting through the criticism and judgment of thinking for yourself. So once you've successfully chosen the vision, your willpower is going to be sustained by your fueled desire for it. But remember, you have to consistently be choosing the short-term discomfort of pursuing it over the enjoyment of your current luxuries. Alright guys, so that'll do it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed the material, that you're able to apply this to your situation, and that you've learned something. If you have any questions or comments about it, please leave it below. Otherwise, until next time, always remember, do what makes you strong, stop doing what makes you weak.